regular weekly, well, weekend feature. Flux, I certainly have had a nice cup of tea today. Actually, no, I did. I had English breakfast tea.
Oh, good choice. Yorkshire tea is my favourite.
Yorkshire tea. Is that just a Northern Pride thing?
No, it's just a brand. I'm not from the north. It's a brand of black tea.
You're north of London.
Shut up. You dirty southern toff.
And that makes you
shut up or I'm going to brick you.
Books.
Okay? Fair enough. I'm not doing myself any favours here.
Alright, here we go. Let's go to game number 4. Welcome everybody to game 4 on Arnhem Checkpoint. You are looking right now, playing for the first time we've seen today, USF. It is going to be Paula, our current king.
All from the south, Arnhem Checkpoint's the map. In the north, it is the Pest of Orange. He hails strangely from Sweden, and his name is Orange Pest. I would have thought he was from the Netherlands, but apparently Swedish. He's playing as the Wehrmacht.
Right from the start of this game here, you just want to have a look at these 5-man squads and the assault engineers. Beautiful. And I was reading actually patch notes about these, like to give them a little bit of a lease of life into the later game. Be interested to see how these are used. I mean, look, Paula, straight from the start, call in meta. It's never going to change.
No, absolutely not. Daniel, be pleased to know that this is the meta for USF right now. It's a double assault engineers, and it's here to stay. You know, they're excellent at what they do, but they are a little bit, as ever, susceptible to being countered because they have to get very close to get their shots in, or to make them count, rather. So it's a high-risk strategy, certainly.
I'm really glad to see this unit though, because when you think like Company of Heroes and you think about the like different units and battalions that, you know, like I always think of these guys, you know, I always think of like Normandy and you know, when you see like the engineers up with the demo charges and things. I see this unit and it's been a shame almost to not have them so featured in the game before now. Look at that. Wow. You can see here the assault engineers, they're getting around the side of the house that has no windows. Yes. So that the MG can't fire back, but they can fire through the building walls, as you're seeing now.
Makes perfect sense.
In a way it does.
Yeah, not with that caliber of bullet, but
yeah.
In general I suppose it does, I guess. Oh, they're going to run after it now. That's great play by Paul. King Paul, King Paul, King Paul.
Yeah, well, Paul certainly knows how to clean up the start game with these, and you can see the way that he's marking. He's using the line of sight there to make sure that he always gets close range DPS. He's always able to spring out into action. Orange Pest is just having to manage this. You see Paul's concealed himself in the only shadow in Orange Pest's vision.
That was excellent.
And what is that?
Pounced, and Orange Pest with some miss micro. Paul's on the attack. He smells blood, and he's gonna go in for the kill, like any apex predator. Oh my lord, this is not a good start for the Swede.
What a terrible start.
Man from China. He hails from New York. He's now planting mines on the exact standard territory sector opposite his opponent's base.
Yeah, and I think that Orange Pest did see that. Orange Pest is actually managing to connect the fuel, which is very important for him.
Did he see it? No, he didn't. Pioneers, almost losing all 4 models there.
Well, there we go. The assault grenadiers get suppressed on the negative cover. This is the chance for Orange Pest to start getting some control of the map back. The losses haven't been too huge, but my word, if this Pioneer squad runs to the left after... Which it may, to be totally honest. No, he's being sensible. He's going to go back to the base.
And this is the build in full effect. The M20 is going to be out immediately with a 50 cal. He's playing this... composition to perfection with great timings, thanks to having solid fuel and yeah, everything's going to plan for Paul. It's all up to Orange Pest to start to make a way back into this battle.
You really don't want to be giving away double munitions as well. See, Orange Pest hopefully manages to get the decap on that in time. I think the M20 is going to hit there first, though.
We have been granted access to superior arms and soldiers.
Here it comes. Hi, as the M8 from KotH used to say. And this is its successor, certainly. And he does not like wine. I can't identify with a man that doesn't like wine. He's just crushing those vineyards. Sickening behaviour.
Well, the M20 is taking a route very far north here. I wonder if he's going to try and harass units back in the base. Orange Pest has pretty much no munitions, one Faust, and there's going to be nothing back in the base.
His Pioneer just hit another mine. The Pioneer's meant to be sweeping the mines.
Yeah, it actually hit it on the retreat this time. So.
A Teller mine has been planted by Orange Pest, by the way, really far up on the west side road. So that could be decent. That might be a way back in.
By the way,
Lieutenant's about to die, perhaps. Eight rifles. Get it! And the M20 really didn't help that retreat path at all. Faust goes in also. Orange Pest back on the attack.
Yeah, Paul lost echelons as well in that engagement, so that's pretty huge, actually.
Oh, I hope this M20 for some reason goes north. That'd be so cool.
This is the late retreat on the MG. That was a terrible decision.
Look! Oh, Gren's pushing the M20 up. The MG's down. M20 hits the Teller.
Orange Pest. Whoa!
Yeah, boy. That was amazing. He brought the Grenadier from a southern position to force the M20 up into the mine. Great play.
Well, well, well. Orange Pest. I mean, Orange Pest planned that as well. Do you know what I mean? Like you can tell when stuff like that is planned, and planned very, very well. Paul doesn't know what hit him.
This episode is now well and truly funded. We have Sturm Tiger Gaddafi, Daddy G, the ultimate benefactor, £37.88. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's probably like $10 or something, knowing the current Brexit situation, but we thank you all the same. No, it's a good amount of money, and that's certainly, we're well and truly funded. Paul, who was demanding a chariot as king, and a new castle built in the Bronx. He's certainly half the way there, but right now the usurper, Orange Pest, building the Swedish Empire once more, has got his eyes set on dethroning the Chinese-American warrior, Paul.
Making a lot of demands, but he'll be lucky to leave with his crown jewels.
Oh. Indeed.
I actually think that Orange Pest is in a good position here. He knows his opponent's commander choice. He's now got a bit of room. He's getting plus 26 fuel in, so he's already on his tier 2. This is good. You know, he's already got 80 on the field. He holds the advantage in infantry. Would love to see mine sweeping, but look at that. Look at that telemine on the right VP there. He's preparing himself. Yeah, he's preparing himself, and this is just the kind of play style that is just going to get you wins. You know, just over your opponent moving across the map. It's a lethal style of gameplay.
It absolutely is. And I must say something. I love our community mappers, but I know they make better competitive maps than Relic a lot of the time. I think only Fame and Vil Approach and Holodny Firma have been really good. But this map is absolutely stunning. Every part of it, and I haven't looked at it properly for a long time because I usually veto it in auto-match. But it's amazing. It's even got like sewage tunnels for the sewage from the village. Like, what the hell? Anyway, like you don't see that level. It's from a professional level, I guess. That's all I'm getting at. Nice, a rifle nade on the east side, forcing away the assault engineers of the M2 flamethrower there. Meanwhile, on the west, Paul is certainly on the attack. The Lieutenant and Veteran C1 assault engineer. He's made a huge inroad, and look at the 50 cal positioning, Dan. All of a sudden, Orange Pest's proposed empire has come crumbling down.
It's kind of strange, really. Like, Paul's making a a hell of a lot of movements with very, very little units. And if you can just sit outside the base here, then that kind of effect where there's a very narrow choke point, well, suddenly his units, you know, they're not all over the map and all left and right. They're in a good position to hold Orange Pest off. And here we go, mines planted on the fuel on the left. I think actually that is going to catch Orange Pest off guard, unless he predicts the mine is there. Could launch a rifle grenade to test.
Doubt it.
Don't want to be blobbing.
Bren's
like
quite
this,
low on health as well, and they're really grouped. Oh, that's going to be a big one. I love it. Meanwhile, the 50 cal's now been uncovered. The MG42 is trying to get rid of it, but it's going to be a long slog. And this is what's great about Paul. He never gets phased that easily, you know. He just comes back with excellent counters for his opponents.
That's going to be flanking with the Grenadiers there. Actually, he could have flanked around the line of sight. He hasn't gone for that. Is he going to use the rifle grenade? He will. Just a little bit late, though.
Good assault here by the engineers. The engineers of the ass. Again, right deep in there. Oh, burning it.
Yeah, to be honest, actually, Paul, what I really like here, you know, players who are on the back foot, but kind of give this huge bravado, you know, in the game, and then suddenly you think, oh, they probably got a lot more than they actually seem to be putting forward. Like, the fact that he's running up the field is like this false sense of like, yeah, I have everything under control, but he had nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I watched a great video on a certain war between the Russians and the Japanese, the Russo-Japanese war, and the Japanese like had a quarter of what the Russians had, right? But because they kept assaulting constantly in like Mongolia and Manchuria, everywhere they were fighting, the Russians always thought they had more than they did. But they didn't. They were just suicidal. They were crazy. In fact, like the general in charge, he wanted to kill himself after the war because he had lost so many men. He was ashamed of it. But it was this whole kind of confidence thing, and that's how Paul plays. I know this is a silly microcosm, it's a pathetic RTS game on the internet, whatever, but he plays as though he has a much bigger army than he does. He just goes for it, and he always does it intelligently. He always finds a good angle, but he just punishes you because of it. He's got great confidence levels, and it's good to see.
Yeah, it's very well played. He's a very good bluffer. I bet Paul's got a great poker face.
Yes. Oh dear, indeed. Well, he has a lot of Bitcoin to play with and new winnings from being king. And he's certainly having a king's-like performance in this game.
Oh, there's going to be an MG drop there. Oh no, he just managed to get outside of the arc of fire. Lieutenant couldn't finish off that last model. Paul continually going for the decap of fuel, actually going to pull away from that to try and stop the VP. And actually looking at the VPs, Orange Pest has done a very good job of not getting drained, because he's had very little map control. But he's buying himself a lot of time to rectify the situation.
Yeah, but when that bulldozer Sherman hits, it's perfect for this map because it can cower behind the buildings and just fire at you and stop you getting into the central area of the hamlet. And yeah, you're gonna suffer.
Good flank from Orange Pest, trying to negate the cone of the MG. Got to reconnect the strategic point to fuel. And we're seeing the Sherman in the build now from Paul, so starting to make use of the teching that we just saw in the last few minutes.
Assault engineers forcing away the grenadiers there. And Pack actually doing some supporting fire. Now, first of all, we're going to go in with the M4A3. Standard, commonly built Sherman. War-winning vehicle if there ever was one. Makes the only tank to have fought in every theatre, from the desert to the islands to the fields of Western Europe. to the steppe of Eastern Europe. And here it is in a made-up village. Well, orange checkpoint, I suppose. It's
great
meant to
entry
be
as
on.
well. I'm pretty sure it's going to take down Ninja on the first one. AT was neutralized by the Lieutenant, giving the Sherman a really good opportunity to go in and deal with these Grenadiers. In fact, the 4-man squad was a little bit late to pick up the AT there.
He gets it, but that's really dangerous, Dan. He might take the Grenadier out on retreat now. He bypasses the pack, and he's going to decrew it yet again. And my game is stalled. I presume Orange Pest has thrown in the towel.
Yes, he has. That's right. And Paul winning his third game in a row as the King of the Hill. Well, that was a difficult situation, and I think he was hoping that the AT gun would take the hit so he could get the snare. Even then, the situation would have been dire, so probably would have resulted in a GG anyway. But Paul there playing with absolutely nothing to his name, just showing how being aggressive is the best form of defense.
Absolutely. And it's fantastic to see him dominating today. He's always been a great player, but of course he's been out of the game for long periods in the past couple of years. But he's done very well today. And wow, is that 3 defenses now, including his Ascension game? That's 4 games won. Is that right? Surely?
I think that's 3 games won.
Oh, okay. Well, Von Ivan won the first.
We can have a look at the...
Yeah, that's 3 games. That was our 4th, I believe. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
well played to Orange Pest, though. I think he did well. It's just that Paul is on a tear today. And as a former top 5 player in the world, when you get that kind of confidence, like maybe Jeziel and GCS2 kind of thing, these kind of guys that have played that many hours at a high level, when they're on form, they're unbeatable.
I do agree with you, yeah. And especially when they're playing strats that are kind of like meta strats too, and they play them really well. Like, you have to be a certain kind of player to overcome that. Because you're not just fighting against a good player, you're fighting against a good build.
Yes, indeed.
A reliably good build. By the way, the spreadsheet looking absolutely fantastic. This is being upkept by our moderators constantly, so you can see all the details from the games that have been played today, the maps, the VP wins, all of that information, which is getting stored. If you guys like watching King of the Hill, and maybe you missed last season, there's a huge list of the games from season 2 here with all the stats and data as well. If for any reason you get bored during the week, go and check out the games on that list. But AE, do you know what? It's been 4 games, but we had an agreement, didn't we? If it gets to this time, and you know, if it gets to...
Well, I'm not tired. I can do another, sure.
Absolutely.
Was it 7:40 was our cut-off for if we do a 5th game or not?
7:40. If it's past 7:40, we don't do another game. But
okay,
this one calls for a game 5, so we don't really have much of an option for the pick, because it was the moderator pick. We've only got the subscriber raffle. I'll let it spin anyway. Looks like a vinyl
cheap
record.
Capitalist. We're just paying for your house, aren't we, Stormless? You're buying a Porsche with this money. I know it. You're spinning just moderator pick.
It might land. It might land on the text. That'd be amazing. Ah, just off. There we go. Subscriber raffle. So the way that this works, we're gonna do it in Twitch chat. So if you're a subscriber, you'll be able to raffle, and if you're not, it won't let you participate. So let me just set it up to go. And okay, yep.